all I got to do is just make sure it's in the group. So one of the things that they're gonna have to do is click and register for StreamYard if we want to see the comments like while we live. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we actually live now. So people are actually, be commenting and we'll be able to see their comments in here. But I
Okay.
also got Facebook. I got the Facebook group up too. So that way when they asking questions, I can go ahead and read them off from there too. Man, but you just got out of what you had going on, man. I know you out there running the world, man, and saving the world. What else you got going on?
Yeah. It was a class at the university from 6 to 9.
Oh, you say you did a class from 6 to 9 on what?
Yeah. Yeah. It was well, I teach for the university, the Equity and Diversity Institute. But this class was just on entrepreneurship.
Oh, that's dope. Just kind of like going through the ups and downs. All right, and they college students, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. So yeah, man, I'm just blessed. I'm glad to have you here, and it was dope, man, that you reached out. Some people, uh, and I know. Well, when I reached out to you, I'm glad you said yeah, because a lot of people do stuff, and everybody be like, hey, let me do this, let me do that, and I'm like, all right, we ain't really talked and had no relationship like before the academy. I can't just a week after being in the academy just it's like I gotta get to know you
Yeah.
first. But like I just remember like rocking with you and actually knowing who you were, man, to when it came up and people was like, man, y'all need to do, think about grant writing. I was like, oh, I got the goat, I got the grant writing extraordinary guru,
Man.
master splinter of grant writing. I got the
Yeah.
master
No,
splinter
I
of
appreciate.
grant writing here, so it's a wrap.
I appreciate it. Like I'm surprised at how much information you hold. Like I posted something on my Facebook, and you was like first to comment on. I was like, how you know that? He's like, man, I got you on first. What is it? First
Oh
notice or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I got you on C first, bro. Like that way, ain't
I'm
no
like,
missing out.
dog, coach always watching, and then you always up, man. I thought I don't sleep. When do you sleep?
Man, when I'm dead, I can sleep as much as I want because I ain't gonna
Yeah.
be able to wake up, right? So it's like, I sleep enough not to be exhausted, right?
Uh-huh.
So believe it or not, like man, I might have a day where I sleep 20 hours.
Oh
Just
wow.
want be out. You know what I'm saying? And just get
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
rest
Yeah.
that I can get and just
Hmm.
pamper myself and then just hit the ground running. But usually I go hard, man. I always said I do the first 90 days on anything that I do because the whole body process. I always talk about
That's right.
30 days to build a process and 90 days it should be out of your hands, right? So I go
Hmm.
hard, like super hard myself for 90 days and then in that time everything should be turned over to where I'm not handling nothing. So I put about 100 hours a weekend. So for the people
Mm.
who working a 9 to 5, working them 40 hours, want to get that up for entrepreneurship,
Yeah,
they
they don't know no
they got to
better.
work 80 to 90 to 100.
They don't know no better. I do sleep every day, but I do about 4 hours, maybe five. But I can't sleep long. My brain be going, and I
That's
sleep with a notebook beside me, so I'm always up,
so. Hey,
writing stuff.
do you get it where you like wake up and like, oh, I gotta write that down. I gotta write.
Hey, yeah,
That's not, I done
yeah.
lost $1 billion ideas by not doing that. So
I
yeah, that's
know.
you gotta
It,
sleep
it,
with a notebook beside you, man. And that's a gem for people who didn't catch that, man. He sleep with a notebook beside him. And
yeah. Some
I can
people
tell you
don't
that
know.
like changed the game for me, bro.
Yeah, I'm working on an $8 million grant right now, and
Ooh.
as soon as I finish this one, I got to work on it. But the idea is, when you do a design, it comes to you. It's like, oh yeah, that go right there. You got to catch it.
Mhm.
You got to catch it.
Yep. And
Oh, we already on?
yeah, we here. I forgot to tell you we live, bro. So hold on. I'm still trying to post it in our Telegram group. I hate telling people about our Telegram group. And it's weird because you start posting Telegram. Because the moment that I realize, like, if I post and be like, "Hey, make sure you're in our Telegram group," a bot it activate the most stupid bots that come in the group
Yeah.
and Telegram, and they'd be on everybody comments to my Telegram. So what I started doing is I join their groups, and then it's just an automated group with a bunch of people lying
Hmm.
about Bitcoin. So they line up, they scamming people about getting deposits and all that, and I'm like, bro,
Man, it's crazy.
So I had to go
It's
in there and say
crazy.
some of our numbers, bro, because some of them, like some of the people, they new to Facebook, I guess, or just like new to this
Mhm.
space, and they've been falling for like people coming in the group, like, hey, let me join, let me show y'all another group where we sharing this and sharing that, like. Y'all got all that
Yeah.
in this group. Don't let nobody
Yeah,
pull you
not
into their
everything,
group.
really.
It's crazy, bro.
Man, yeah. It's we have a cohort of businesses in Asheville, and all of them are startups. It's about 75 of them. And I was talking to the director there. I said, "Look, we're gonna bring everybody into the business academy because everything that they need is right here."
And it was crazy is people don't like, and it's not, we're not even built. So one of the things, like, like let's say if I'm a guru in something, right?
Mhm.
That's dope, right? So there's one, like I remember playing ball, and I'm gonna get to my point. We both got a little ADHD. I got a little more
Yeah,
than a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people. But, like so when you in like the ninth grade, and my son going through that this year, he got pulled up to varsity, but he don't hardly ever play on varsity, right?
Mhm.
So if he get in, they may either got blew out or they blowing somebody out, or and it's at the end. But it's cool because he's in the ninth grade, right? And a lot of people don't get pulled up to varsity in the ninth grade. But
Right, right.
one of the things I had to deal with stuff like that too, So as an athlete, you gotta play behind somebody. In your head, you way better than them. Like, man, dang, that joke
Hmm.
ain't got no left, this and that. How in the world coach don't know you yet, right? So
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I realized is that you might be better than them one on one or something like that in your own world, but he runs the defense based on the system a whole lot, or runs
yeah,
the offense based on the system a whole lot better. Therefore, now he might be the starting point guard, right? So it
yeah.
what so it's two things that happen. I can get in and keep pushing the issue and say, man, I should be out there. I should be out there and not be a good team player because I feel like I'm more important than the team. Or I can sit back and see how the system runs and say,
In the
now when it's
system.
my turn to plug in as point guard, I can contribute a lot better to the team. And
Right,
that's
right.
one of the things that I be wanting people in the group, because there might be other people in here like, man, I write grants too. I do this, I do that. It's just I don't know
Yeah,
them yet, right? But there's
yeah,
always
yeah.
going to be a chance to like build that by supporting other people, showing them what a group's at, serving, being a servant first
Right,
before
right.
you'll be a leader. Because you know, and I
Mhm.
just want to thank you because you the grant guru, and you ain't even been in there like trying to. You like, hey, my time coming, my
Yeah,
time coming. But it's
yeah.
good to know that people, saying, hey, I'm gonna wait my turn. Therefore, when it hit, it's gonna be all
Yeah.
right. So
Well, definitely. I mean, I I recognize, where I am in life, and I'll tell them about how I met you whenever it's time. But it was a turning point. You know what I mean? And so I was just glad to be a part. The messages, the posts, all the check-ins and stuff like that. It was just pouring in, pouring in, pouring in, and it was right what I needed. Like the thing that I love most just about you and the community that you create is that you care about the person, not necessarily what they can do. And there's a big difference. Big difference. Like
yeah,
to care about the person. You know what I mean? I care about the community. I care about the people. Let's take care of people. The
yep.
stuff you do will come. You know what I mean? And that makes all the difference in the world.
And the stuff you do is
Um,
can
I'm
always
glad.
change. You're gonna
Man, yeah.
always have to pivot. The key ain't in the expert level of knowing stuff. The key is pivoting when that market dies. You
Nah,
know,
nah. Cause
you might
I
be
didn't
some.
even know that. Yeah, you might be, but the market changes, time change, economies change. I didn't even know that grant writing was a thing that people would be attracted to. I started writing because I had to. You know what I mean?
But it's
Uh,
crazy. I don't even think it's the grant writing
uh,
that's what they're attracted to. They're attracted to the grants.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying? Because remember,
yeah.
even
It was one behind the
we'll get into the coaching side later, but it's remember
back.
how like when you first come into the coaching program, how I talk about it ain't nothing that like a lot of people when they talk about going to because my name is Derek, right? Now Derek is a
Yeah.
drill in Houston. That's a big machine. A Derek is a big machine that's used to
Oh,
get oil, right? So
okay.
nobody talks about, and so I say a joke. Don't nobody talk about Derek in Texas, right? So it's like they don't get it, right? But what I was talking about is nobody talks about the tool. Nobody cares about the tool, right?
Right, right.
So
Uh-huh.
this is why I like credit repair businesses. They be like, Coach, I ain't making no money. I'm like, because you keep talking about you get deletions and that. It ain't the credit that they want repaired. They want the house. They want the business. They want this. They want that. So credit is the tool. But you talking about the tool, the gold rush, right? Nobody talked about the tool that actually got the gold in the gold rush, right?
They
But
always talked
who
about the
made the
gold.
most money in the gold rush? The people who sold the equipment to dig the gold up with, right? So when I be trying to tell people, stop talking about the freaking tool and talk about the goal and the solution. So they don't want the grant writing academy. They want the grants.
They want the grant. Yeah. It is a powerful thing. It is.
Yeah, no, most deaf, man. So now, before we usually get in, this is our like third. You like my third guest. We never get a chance. I got to go back and do Brandon, but everybody know me and Brandon always. So we did. So we don't want to launch it before we bring the expert on to talk about the mindset and the layout of it and what they put in it so that people can understand the method behind the madness in it, right? So we had T and Farrah on. They killed it. Man, they changed the game with it, and I had my bro Ken on. He's a whole nother monster out here, especially. So his staffing academy coming like I think next week. So I think yours dropping tomorrow or the day after. So we had to get you on because we hit 40,000. So I told the team
the fastest growing group in the planet on the planet.
That's man, it's dope. So what I talked to them about though when I had them on. Because, everybody like to get straight into it. But I don't like to get straight into it, right? Because it's so many gurus out here. Hey, look what I did in the pandemic. I spent my check and made $1 million. I spent my $1,200 a week paying, I spent my unemployment and got this. And I spent my PPP and just made $1 million, just whatever, right? So I don't, and people they got to the point where a lot of people fell for that. And they in rebound phase right now. It's rebound, heal, and rebuild phase, right? Because now we at the point where a lot of people realize, man, I jumped out there and I nosedived, but I didn't understand the mental side of like diving in. So, mental health is what we focusing on, man. So do you mind like sharing like some of the things that you do to like keep them, just to kind of, I don't want to say keep your mental health in check because it can go off at any time. But what are some things that you do to kind of like keep the mental health in check though?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I do, I play. Me and my kids, we play. As a matter of fact, on Wednesday nights, my 3 kids, they have a cooking contest. So all of them make a dish, and then me and my wife, we kind of judge between it, and we play. I mean, it's important to do that. The other thing is I commute from Virginia to North Carolina. So it's a 6-hour commute every week. And so I take that time to drive. That's my meditation time, to center myself. And then I get up at 4:30 every morning. And so that's my time to kind of deal with my own thoughts before I have to interact with the world. And I found out like it's important like to manage your thoughts and manage like you as a human being, you as a person, and whatever is going on in your life before you have to interact with people.
Most definitely, man. And man, now that's real dope, man. 6-hour commute though. How often? Every day?
No. Twice a week. My wife
Gotcha.
was appointed to the governor's office in Virginia, and when she was appointed, we had to, kind of add another house. And so I was like, "Well, you go ahead, and then I'll be back
Oh,
and forth." So
and he
yeah.
married successful. Oh man, so that's what I'm talking about. And we'll get into that. One of the things my mentor told me, my mentor, bro, like he's super expensive. Well, one of my business growth
Yeah.
mentor, he said that he don't, and I know a lot of people might not agree, but it's his program. He can choose to do what he want to do, right? He hit over 100 million. So he went from 30 million to 100 million. So, he clearly successful financially, but and he don't like mentorship and paid coaching ain't really his thing. It's just I got lucky because Ty Crandall, that was his coach, and he put me on. It was just like a lot of little stuff like that to where it's like, but he don't coach people. And I'm like, a lot of people might disagree, but his thing was he don't coach. He won't coach a man unless a man is married. He don't coach you. He said because a commitment, and because I was married so long, that's why he accepted me. right?
Yeah.
So, because
I
Ty
see
ain't
that.
married, you know what I'm saying, no more, right? He make that be known, right? But he
Uh-huh.
was though. So my thing is he said that that's part of the hardest commitments. If a man can commit and stay married and come out the mud without killing himself, right? That means he
Yeah,
get
yeah.
fed and you know,
Right,
he
right.
has the support. If he's married and actually got the support, then he'll coach him. Because if you can commit to that, when you can,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you didn't have way more chances to walk away from a marriage than anything, right? And you
Yeah,
know that I mean, it's the truth. And
real,
so I was
real.
like, dang, I ain't never think of that. So like when you said your wife though, the fact that you still commuting, you said we had to leave. You know, a lot of men ain't gonna follow their wife. You got a lot of these old
Oh, wow.
macho men like, no, she gonna follow me and this and that. But when you got somebody
Yeah,
that's fighting with you and it feel like you know this and that, he
yeah.
said it makes it a lot easier, and that's why he do that.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Me and her, we've been through everything together. We got together when I was 18, she was 19. It was
Man,
in
that's good, bro.
1999. Yeah, yeah,
I got
yeah.
married at 18.
So we've been through everything together. Matter of fact, when we got married, we went to a two-bedroom apartment. I got to the door before her. I had to take the eviction notice off the door before she got
Wow.
there.
Yeah.
But we made it. We made it through. We,
No,
we
for real.
made it through. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, man. That's dope, man. So now let's get into it, man. I remember where did we meet, bro? Like the first time, like how did we
oh,
even it's crazy.
so what happened? I'm gonna tell you what happened. Part of it you don't know about. So I got out of prison
Okay,
and I got this truck. I got a Lincoln Navigator. It was only
okay.
$9,000, but my payment was $500 a month. I was paying like 23% interest, and I was like, man, this crazy. So I went to get a to get a loan, and my credit was jacked up. I was like, what's the problem? I don't even use credit, and I
Right.
had enough money in the bank to like pay for something in cash, and my credit was messed up. So I went online try to see how to fix my credit, and I came across you on stage with the gray suit, you know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah, yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, who is that? I want him to fix my credit. And so I'm clicking on stuff. And I was like, nah, if I can fix my credit, I can fix other people's credit. And so
Hmm.
I signed up for Automate My Flow and I
Yep.
set up a consultation. It took me 6 weeks. No, it took maybe 4 or 5 weeks. It was sometime in September when my call came up and you answered the phone. You was traveling. You was at a gas station, and you walked me through and answered some questions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And that's when we met. And I was like, man, you talking to me at a gas station? You're like, yeah, King, what's going on? What's going on? Still pumping gas or whatever.
And my schedule then, listen, my schedule then was a nightmare. My schedule was backed up 2.5 months, bro.
Yeah, I remember.
And
I
I'm
was glad I got in.
and people was like, man, you making a lot of money, it's killer. But I'm like, bro, I'm so burnt out, it's crazy. And what was
Man,
crazy,
I can't
it was
believe you were
cool because
doing all the
I was getting,
consultations yourself.
huh?
You did all the consultations yourself.
For the automation. So I was like, all right, we selling these things for 3,500. But I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, right? When it comes to like
Hmm.
technology. I
Yeah, me
love
too. Me
systems.
too.
So nobody in the company knew so they know the technical side of it, but they don't know the mindset of it, right? So we
Right.
had
Uh
people
huh.
who can build what I say build, but we didn't have people that can build what I say build that knew how to build a multi-million-dollar credit repair company on top of it. So
Hmm.
that's what was the problem. So it's like if I'm talking to a person that's trying to grow their credit repair company, yeah, I got an automation team that can knock the setup, but they ain't gonna know what you want, right? They ain't gonna know. So
Yeah.
when you talk, I can say, all right, do this, do that. Being that you ain't gonna charge that, offer this here, put the webinar here, automate the webinar, make sure they sign up for the back end there, plug this here, have these email going out there. And then the moment they click on
Hmm.
the email, if it's before 9 o'clock, make sure that they phone ring and it's a voice message from you, blah, 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 and on. And that's when you
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
like, hey, that's pretty dope, right? So, but my team
Yeah.
didn't know that. So that's why I was doing the consultation. But what's crazy is
Okay.
out of 10 people, 9 signed up like every day. And so just put that in perspective, I was doing about 30 minutes a call, right? And so
Mhm.
imagine doing 30-minute calls, 2 calls an hour, and that was 3,500 every. So I was making $3,500 for in an hour, right? And
Yeah.
but it was what was crazy is it was like, man, the money was cool. It was coming in, and I was in a rebounding season. You know, I was coming out of all of that, right? So I was like, I gotta get it. But then my body started breaking down, and I'm like, you know what? This is crazy. So if I got some admins on here, make sure that y'all catching the comments, make sure that my admins delete the comments. So if you promote, it's 0 tolerance on my Facebook Live. If you promote on it, I don't care if it's a mistake or not, you're getting blocked, and every future profile from you get blocked out of the group, mistake or not. So do not try to sell anything in the comments. So I just wanted to throw that disclaimer out there. So if you report it, and I see it when I get off live, admins, just make sure that you delete the comments. But if that person get reported for promoting in the comments, they get them blocked forever. So my bad. I had to say that.
No problem.
Yeah.
Got
So
to maintain order, decently and in order. But yeah, that's how we met. I tracked you down. I signed up for automation. Matter of fact, when I paid for the automation, I was I ain't really had that 3,500.
you say you
I
ain't
ain't
had it.
really I had it. I didn't have it to you know you do what you got to do. But I was like, man, this gonna hurt. Like I've been saving up. I was still on probation, and so I'm like, man, I'm kind of comfortable, but I'm getting ready to do this for real. I pulled over in the parking lot, went on to ran the transaction or whatever. But I'm glad I did it and signed up for coaching. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I got in when I did. But that's when it started for me, and you know I started watching and learning, and and just picking up what I could. But then I found out that the
So if you
principles
ain't
that
had a
you
third,
taught,
if you ain't, you say you ain't had a 3,500. So how you came up with it?
well, it was there. I just didn't plan on spending it for automation.
I
Let me say
got
it
yeah,
that
that's
way.
what I'm saying. So what made you say? Because I remember you signed up for automation, right? You paid that 3,500,
Mhm.
and then I hit you up and I said, "Hey," I said, "Look, man, I ain't gonna be able to really sleep at night." I said, "Now, yes, I can coach you, right? But
Uh,
what sound better? Do you want me to credit that $3,500 towards coaching because my coaching come with automation systems, or do
yeah, I
you want to
remember.
get coaching down the road and got to pay for coaching all over again after getting?" And I was like, bro, I
Uh,
won't be able to sleep like knowing that I didn't let you know this. And so what you want to do? So I remember
yep.
that part, but you didn't tell me.
Yeah,
You didn't tell me all the stuff that you had to go
man.
through to
Nah,
make that decision.
I ain't gonna let nobody see me sweat. I ain't gonna.
Nah,
But I was shaking on the inside, like I'm about to do. But no, but this is the thing. Number one, I knew I couldn't go backwards. You know what I mean? I
right.
knew that I couldn't go backwards. And the money that I saved up, I was like, what I'm gonna do with it? What else am I gonna do with it? I might as well invest in something that can bring me a return. So the idea of at that time, all I was trying to do was learn about credit, and I realized that if I had better credit, I wouldn't have to waste money the way that I did on those high interest things. But then when I spoke to you and got to learn more about the automation process, then my brain was going. It's like, man, these are principles that can be used for any business, any company, and that's when I locked in, and that's why I like. Now I don't know how much your coaching is these days. I remember you said you wasn't doing any more individual coaching, but I'm glad I got in when I got in. It's one of my bills every month. It's my investment. Matter of fact, I put it in my educational budget.
Yeah, I just realized, man, one-on-one coaching is cool. But so
Mhm.
what was happening, right? It was at a time where it was like at a time where you want to help people, but what was happening, right? So I had a lot of people hit me up, and some people was lucky enough to get a PPP. Some people didn't get lucky enough to get it, right? But for the ones who
Mhm.
did get it, it was like, look, I'm really trying to, and I don't want to like throw money away in this program and that program just to learn this and be able to do all kind of illegal stuff, and so they was confused, and they was like, so it's one of them things where it's like, man, I know I'm busy, but I don't want them to kind of get screwed over. But
Right.
though, what I learned though is I ended up failing a decent amount. I ain't gonna say a good amount. I ended up failing a decent amount. The reason why, and I learned that, and the reason why I was like, hey, I gotta hold off on the coaching at that level is a lot of
Mhm.
people they go into coaching unhealed, right? So
Yeah.
therefore, they go out of a situation where they've been hurt and got over on and just this so long that they feel that
Right.
if I pay this, I'm done. And now my coach is my employee. He gonna do everything for me.
And,
because they hadn't went through the process of like knowing how a multi-million-dollar business or even a good
they didn't get their mind right. They
well,
didn't
it
get their
wasn't
mind
them.
right.
And so, and the good thing about I'm good enough to know, when I'm accountable. I love accountability, right? It was more on me than them a lot of times because but I ended up putting a better vetting process in place, right? Done is better than perfect, right? So it got better. You learn the mistakes as you go, but that's what kind of led to the decision of like slowing down on the entry level one-on-one. I do like one-on-one calls and I map out a plan, but that ongoing accountability, a lot of people don't really need accountability. They need discipline.
That's what they need. That's what they need. So I mean, you spoke from your side. I mean, it's your company, your program, you built it. Let me speak from the user side. The coaching program that I walked into, it never felt perfect. It never felt, oh man, all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed, but nothing in life ever is. And if somebody wants to start a business, then they have to have the guts to like do what it takes and realize the value that's in something. So even if it took a while for me to get a phone call back, I had to recognize, well, he busy. I don't want nobody that's just sitting by the phone anyway. You know what I mean? I need the stuff that he's talking about to be legit. He done tested it. He got bumps and bruises, so I'll be all right. And I'm not needy. And there are a lot of people that go into business because they want an excuse to be lazy. They
Yeah.
want to go into business so they can be something they would never in another. They never ever led anything, so they'll set up a business with no employees, no revenue, no operations, no nothing, and call themselves a business owner. And it's crazy. And what you teach is that before you get to be CEO, you need to be the janitor, the secretary, the phone answerer, the lights on, lights off,
Yeah.
everything. Like move up and pay yourself accordingly until you get to there in your own business.
Yeah.
So it produced that type of discipline. Like that's what a coach does. Coach don't run for you; he tells you to run.
Man, listen, it's crazy. And and when they say, oh, well, because I used to be on that, well, if a coach ain't never did it, he can't coach it. I'm kind of mixed on that, because when I learned that Bill Belichick never played the game, that kind of shut me up, right? But one of the
Yeah.
things though, I do think that what I was able to like help with, and I love the way that like you do it when like you like first I want to just thank you for giving your paid grant writing program to us so that the people can actually benefit from it, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
that's for one, man, you're an American hero for that. So go, it's like when Dave Chappelle say, "Hey, he's a real American hero," right? But now I just want to thank you for that. But I want to thank you for growth, right? Because it's just like consistency and growth, bro. To be able to like watch it. Me and you have been on the phone, and we didn't cry on the phone a few times, like sitting here in boohoo tears, crying, talking. But that's the essence.
Uh,
That's the good thing about men knowing that
yeah,
they can actually cry to other men, and it's okay, right? And,
yeah,
and to
yeah.
be able to watch the stuff that you went through, and me to share the things that I went through, this is like one of the biggest things, and it's full circle to see that in this community, you coming back, and as the GOAT.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To like come in the community and like really give back to the people in this capacity.
Man,
So
look,
that
I know y'all probably got questions or whatever, but Derek, do you remember this one night? You probably remember it, but somebody had disagreed with you. Somebody else on Facebook had disagreed with you on some credit repair strategy,
right,
and and they was arguing about revolving accounts versus installing accounts.
right.
Man, it was like an hour, and then Kayla came and like, "That's it, that's it."
I remember, and you know what was crazy? So I gave them this moment. I ain't gonna do that no more because I realize some people just want attention, right? But what it
Yeah, yeah.
was though is it was funny because it validated everything that I said, right? That's the cool.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But because I tell my story that how people be
Mhm.
like, it's corny people like, oh, I got an 850. You gotta have great credit to start a credit repair business. And I don't think that's true, right? because
Mm-hmm.
the person that's selling the Rolls Royce, most of them can't, as a salesperson, can't buy the Rolls Royce, right?
Can't even have it.
So,
Right.
when it comes to being able to know the laws, learn the laws, execute on that, I think that's good enough. The mechanic don't always have the best car because he's focusing on serving everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I did though is I let him have his moment, because I told people like, hey, I was the guy with the $1.6 million business where the business was making $32,000 a week, but my expenses and payroll was $34,000 a week. Therefore, it was costing me $2,000 a week to run my business because I wanted to look the part instead of be the part.
The look.
Therefore, I done
Yeah.
ran out all my credit lines, and I was the credit guy with bad credit and this and that, charging off Capital One, charging off this, charging off that, trying to keep a business afloat. And that's why I tell people, start with where you at, start with what you got. And I tell, and a lot of people like, man, he just saying that to fit in. He ain't have bad credit doing this. He ain't look. So what he did was he pulled up an old account. Was like, hey, see there, I put up a public record. Derek Harper, old Capital One. He's scamming y'all. So I was like, all right. So instead of letting you make a slander post, I commented on it and said, hey, sorry, blah, blah, blah. He went live and tagged me in it. So I was like, all right, let me just, I got one even better. Let me go ahead and join your live. Let's get it off your chest. I want you to heal, right? And I just added it in the group. But a lot of people, because I was pushing to the group conflict resolution.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because you ain't always got to meet people where they at. But Kayla got tired of it though.
But this is the thing. This is the thing, and this is what helped me personally. Number one, you had already told like the troubles and the tribulation that you went through. So we already knew about the U-Haul and the baby in the stroller and them taking away. We already knew about that. We already knew about that. Like you had already told us about that, right? So he pulling up something that he think is special. But it's like, man, we already know that. Like we've already been transparent. We done already walked through it,
right.
And the information works. The information itself works. And I identify with that because when I got out of prison in 2015, I was on work release in Gastonia, North Carolina. In Asheville, they did not have any space at the halfway house there, so I had to go to Gastonia. And Gaston County had a jail. Like you didn't go to a shelter, you went to the jail. And so I had to drive 2 hours to work, and I got this good job at this program up there. And people like, you shouldn't get the job because he's a criminal. Don't y'all know he been to jail? Then when they made me executive director, they're like, y'all let a criminal do this, y'all let a criminal do that. Then when stuff started growing, y'all just doing it, but y'all don't know this about him. Y'all don't know this about him. Like, man, everybody know that. Like, come on, get up. It's like people just they think they got some money.
But I never got this got to be the weirdest thing I ever seen in my life, right? Because I'm about to let you go in on these gems and explain what you're gonna cover. But we just talk because I want people to know who Joseph is. You know what I'm saying? And what I love about you, man, even since we first talked, first met, we just hit it off. We shared our stories. We shared this. We shared that. And the thing about it is, it's so many. We in a society, and you got the cancel culture and all these crazy cultures and things like that, where you think they got to be perfect online. That's what people think. So they would try to, back in the day, man, like if this was have been prior, before social media, the moment you said the word, man, yeah, I've been to prison, they automatically put that scarlet letter on you. Like people don't, when the whole goal is to become better and do better for the world, right? And people, so that's why when people get out of jail, they don't have nobody to freaking turn to. And it's probably people who either know somebody in prison about to get out, that they probably already thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do for them. But what if you had a nonprofit set up and you got grants and you create a program for people exiting prison, and you also have person B running a credit repair company and this and that, person A get the grant money to go ahead and provide services for the other company to do credit repair. I mean, there's a million things you can do, right?
Man, it's so much. It's stuff being done right now. Some of it I've done. Some of it I coached other people to doing. I got a message today from somebody who's currently locked up. They said that they're going to be on tonight. Like it's people like this group is reaching everywhere, everywhere, and the stuff that somebody thinks has worked against them actually in the right hands, it works for you.
I be
Now,
telling you.
I'm a Bible person.
Yes.
Folks can take it or leave it, but really, in all actuality, all things work together for your good. You just got to know what to do with it. You can cry about it, or you can use it for your good. Because the way that you hurt and somebody else hurt, and if you came through it, then you got this stuff to help somebody else come through it. And my job is to show you how to get the money to attach to it. That's it. Because there's money out there.
Sure, man. That's dope. So if y'all know somebody, man, like he on another level. Because I see the good thing about it, man, when y'all do these academies, I get to watch them
Mhm.
first, bro. And see, people think this is, people think this is a Derek Harper show. No, it ain't. I don't even, they be like, oh, Derek, this, I'm falling Derek. Like, no, this the group. It ain't no,
Mhm.
and because when I was talking to my coach and my bishop, and when I be praying, all I keep hearing is my bro Ashcash, ego, ego, ego. In order to grow the group, you gotta get rid of the ego. And ego means edging God out. When you start making the group about you, so the group is growing, it ain't got nothing to do with what I did. I just had to start something, right? But that's
Well,
part of the assignment, right? So the
yeah, yeah.
assignment is gonna grow the group because if you promise to commit and give God's people, if you give God's people what they need as part of the assignment, he gonna give you all the tools to serve the people with. Some people actually mistake that as, oh, I built wealth. No, I'm the placeholder. I'm like an S corp. I'm a pass-through entity, right? So
Yeah.
y'all better catch that bar. So I look at, I'm looking, it's a vessel.
Mhm.
I look at it like an S corporation where it's a pass-through entity. God might give me a lot of stuff, but I understand that this money ain't mine. I understand that all of the
Yeah.
things, that property, that 76 acres and all that ain't mine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's to be
It just
used. And
means
the
he can
more of it
trust
I
you
give
with it.
away, the more I keep getting.
He can trust you with it, and that's how the universe works. One of the most powerful books I ever read is called "Launching a Leadership Revolution: Mastering the Five Levels of Influence." And the top level of influence is the invisible leader. It's the leader who sets other leaders up so that they're not the focus, but other leaders are. And it takes a lot of self reflection, introspection, and sacrifice to do that. But that's the most beneficial place. That's actually the way that God set us up. That's why parents grow in order to make space for their children. Like it's the model. The flower that you see growing out of the ground right now is only there to produce more seed. And when somebody decides not to give back, when somebody decides to hold on, then they're going against the laws of nature. And that's why they die off, because they refuse to give back. So for anybody that's a content expert, has an idea, has a story, has a business, it's your assignment to give it away. You know what I mean? It's your assignment to give.
Yeah.
And whatever resources that you need, God makes that happen. And if he can trust you with the million, you get it. 10 million, you get it. 100 million, you get it. You just got
I'm
to
glad
prove
you
that you can
said
serve
that.
it.
Because like sometimes, like I don't ever, one of the things, like I got a pet peeve, you ain't ever gonna see me like blessing somebody publicly and they picture all in it, that were they name, you know what I'm saying? So I might mention the fact that I blessed somebody only to, because it's people following, right? So this part of my assignment is the people gotta see it. Not see what I
Yeah.
got, but see how I'm being used, right? Because some people might don't know how God look. God look like you. You look like me.
Mhm.
God looks like whatever he's sending to be the message at that time, right?
Right, right.
So the thing about it is being able to like give, right? And always see it come back, always see it come back. But then I started to realize that, just like you said, that seed and whatever you water is growing. Everybody I know with a scarcity mindset, because I remember when I try to make everything about, let me see what I can get out the deal, let me see what I can get out the deal, I never got nothing out the deal.
Yeah. Because it's whenever you do that, um, you're working by the sweat of your brow, and you just get that immediate money right there. But if
Mm-hmm.
you really want the wind at your back, then find somebody to give to. Find something to give, and everybody can give something somewhere somehow. Find somebody. Matter of fact, one of my leaders has said that she finds one person, at least one person, to bless every single day. Do
Oh,
something. It doesn't matter what it is, but do something for somebody. Just one person
yeah.
every day.
I've been doing that. So I
Yeah,
ain't gonna say
it's
what I've
powerful.
been doing on that, but yeah, I that
Yeah,
principle changed everything, bro. Um,
yeah.
but
When you do
so
that,
let me
then
let
you're
me tell you
moving.
something. What you say now? My bad. I don't want to miss that because you be
No, I
dropping.
said when you're doing that, you're moving with God, and He can trust you with stuff according to Deuteronomy 8:18. God gives you the power to get wealth, so you can establish His covenant. As long as it's what's on His mind, as long as it's distributing love, care, and concern for humanity, God is with you.
Fertile soil. Everything you start to touch and everybody connected to that assignment starts to grow, and they have no other choice. Right?
No other choice. It's
Man,
inevitable.
that's crazy. So no, that's dope. I had something I was gonna kind of like follow back up with that. It was gonna be dope. I was waiting to set it up, but ADHD didn't kick in.
Oh
So let
man,
me
I'm sorry.
if it comes back, we good. We'll figure it out, right? But man, $37 million in grants, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
and
you write an $8
and
million grant now?
yeah, yeah. As soon as
Oh
we
no, hold on,
done,
hold on, hold on. Oh, dang. See, that's what I was gonna get into. Hold on, my bad. Blessings,
Mhm.
right? Because before we get into the grant, the grants, I gotta brag on you for a minute. You got a building
Okay.
for $1, bro.
Yeah,
You got a building,
yeah,
the new Black Wall Street building that you're gonna put for $1.
yeah,
You gotta explain that.
yeah. It's a city owned building. I don't own it, but they did give it to me for $1.
Okay.
Um, and so we have use of it. And you want me to tell how it happened?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, I don't
All right,
know if
all right.
you got that in your.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can tell. So every city, and we teach this stuff in the Grants Academy. So every city has a plan. Every county has a plan. And one of the strategies that we teach you is how to master the city's plan so that you can understand what to put forth and what to apply for. And so the city, they put out a call, a request for proposal, RFP, and and so they asked anybody that wanted to use this building to apply for it. And they only had 5 people apply. They only had 5 agencies apply. They probably had less than that because they extended the deadline, which means that there are people in communities that don't even know that your city is giving away stuff and making stuff available. And so we wrote the proposal. The proposal was 7 pages, and so they extended the deadline because they said they didn't have enough proposals in. They wanted to make sure everybody knew about it, and the proposal is the same as the grant proposal. And so we actually did the proposal and we offered market rate for it, but during the city council meeting and all that's public, you see it on YouTube or on the city's page. One of the community citizens spoke up and said, "Well, the city is doing this for $1. Why don't y'all do this for them for $1?" And they looked back at it and saw that it matched all the criteria, and boom, because it fit the city's economic development plan, because it created jobs, generated revenue. They said, "Yeah, we're gonna give it to them for $1." And what you'll see on like the actual YouTube clip, you see the city's lawyers and the mayor and the city council sitting there figuring out what can we do to give it to them? What can we do to give it to them? And they did, and I'm real grateful. And so out of that building, we're able to start, grow, and expand Black businesses, so that Asheville can become known for Black businesses.
Wow, man, that's huge. Man, y'all look. I know I can't hear y'all. Y'all got to give it up for them on that, man. Just the whole movement and the assignment being bigger than you, bro. It's
Yeah,
magic, bro. It's magic. I think so. You
it's
covered
bigger.
that one in the module, the where to find grants module.
Yeah, yeah, I do that because there at any given time there's 144 billion dollars in grant money moving. The philanthropic world is huge and
You
it's
said
big,
billion or with
and
a
so that
B?
billion, yeah, billion, is moving at all points at any given time. And this money is only moving based on a plan. And most of the time, people don't know where the plans are, and they don't know how to write towards, whatever the requirements are. So that's really the nuts and bolts of grant writing. We show you where to find it, how to find it, and then what to write, and then how to match up what it is that you're doing with what it is that's being funded. Chances are the thing that you're doing, it has a different name. Like if you might call it, well, I help people that don't have nowhere to stay, or I let my son's friends sleep in the basement if they just need such and such, like something like that. You might call it something casual, but there's actually an official name for the thing, and there's a budget attached to it as well. I'll show you how to do that.
144 billion. So I'm thinking about this group, right? Because only a
Mhm.
thousand gonna execute. I hope they prove me wrong. So when I be talking junk, I be wanting them to prove me wrong. But I done been in the
Uh,
game a long time to know the percentage of people that execute.
yeah,
So if a
they be
thousand
right too.
people get $1 million in grants, right? 1,000 people. That's only tapping into $1 billion out of the 104. With the amount of people in this group, ain't no way in the world we shouldn't get 100 billion. We shouldn't get at least $1 billion of that in grant money
At
between
least,
everybody.
at least, and like the 37 million is real, but in the world of grant writing, those that do it, that's a relatively low number. Like the people that are doing this, you can get you like 5 million. The one I'm doing now is an $8 million grant, so that'll take me up to 37. What did that be?
45.
40, 45 million.
45, 46.
And yeah. Um, and so there's money out there. There are grants as low as $500, grants as much as $10 million. And matter of fact, I got a message last week because somebody had asked about like paying, like pay a registration for a grant, and like grants are free. You may have to pay a grant writer, and like if you have to pay a writer, you have to pay them like somewhere between $6,000 and $20,000. That's if you pay a grant writer, but the grant itself, you can find that and write it for yourself, and we show you that in the Grant Academy.
So what's crazy is, man, and my mind starts spinning, right? So we don't
Mhm.
have a money problem. We just have
Oh no.
so how many people that's right now in a position where they can't take next month off because they
Mhm.
ain't gonna be able to like feed their family. So they stuck into
Yeah.
survival mode, and then they start thinking, because I'm big on this, and I give it to my coaching group. I'll just give it, right? So a lot of
Mhm.
people are thinking that they're gonna work their way out of their work. And that only
That's
works for
impossible.
2% of the people. So 98% of the
Yeah.
people really have goals to not work forever, but they don't ever get
Mhm.
out. 98% of the people of the 100% that does that never get out. They get stuck
No.
in survival mode. So because if they never get over the hump, because there's always something designed in society to keep you back. So they never get over the hump,
Mhm.
and they get stuck. So now they stuck doing somebody else's mission. But
Yeah.
guess what? They sell plates on the side. Or guess what? They tutor on the side. So instead of
Yeah.
saying, let me take the inner city kids, create an after school program to get the GPAs up, let me write and get
Yep.
all this grant money, let me hire my
Yep.
cousins, right? And all of them, put them on the payroll
Mhm.
for the nonprofit, put them on the board or whatever, give them a salary directly for the nonprofit so that the grant money can zero out at the end of the year. We still be in compliance and we don't have to
Yeah.
struggle and suffer no more, because now we're
Absolutely.
able to fulfill our mission to the community, and we able to let the government pay for it. No Section 8, no TANF, no
Oh no.
SNAP. We get
No. No.
big
No.
time
No. No.
grants to get the community together. So instead of talking about let me not vote for this person and that person, we already got access to the money, and we thinking that we
Yeah.
thinking the politicians got to do it for us. And you coming
Man,
on
nah.
and telling us this. So it's the lack of information, and that's literally why this
It's
group was built,
always.
to show people.
It's always a lack of information. Like the sad thing about it, Derek, is that the people who have been receiving the grant money are oftentimes the people who don't have the lived experience, don't really need it, and probably not really doing effective work. And the people who are really, really doing it from the heart, they don't have the money. But what else is it? They don't have the information. So that person that might be living in an apartment and dealing with like how they going to make ends meet, they can write a grant right now, and get that grant and run the program right out of their apartment. They can actually partner with their apartment complex, or if they live in public housing, I guarantee you, your public housing authority has a grant fund right now,
Come
and
on,
they're looking
man.
for somebody that's local to run the program. And you can actually you write the grant and you write your salary into it. So if the grant is funded, then now you have a salary coming out of it. And then the books and stuff, you don't have to have used books. You can buy new books. You can buy the computers for the kids. You can buy t-shirts. You can get trips for them. You have to think, what is it really going to take to help my community, and write that, and then just be bold enough to say, I don't have to suffer. I can actually I can put myself out there and say, I'm willing to tackle this problem. I'm willing to solve this problem. I'm willing to do this to help somebody. And if you're willing to do that, there's a grant to fund it. Now you're not going to get rich off a grant, but you can definitely take care of business with it.
I had a screenshot to put amount of people that's on here. We actually, that when you was dropping that, we had 777 right here. That ain't no mistake. So I
Oh
was
my
able to
God.
screenshot it in time. So that angel number was there. I already know
No.
everything that we just talked about is definitely about the manifest. That angel number just do not make mistakes. And it's crazy how right after you finish, it fluctuated again. But it was stuck at that 777 for a minute right there while you was going in. So never mind, I ain't mean to interrupt you, but I just had the screenshot. But man, so explain the academies, right? Because I done took it. I don't want to like have a spoiler alert. So explain the mindset. So I don't know nothing about grant writing, and I just logged in, right? What mindset should I have going through it?
The number one mindset that you should have is this money is not yours. This money is trusted to you in order to do something with. That is
There
the
you go. This
biggest,
ain't
like
shopping free
when
money.
people hear this is not money. You can write your salary in there, but everything else is about what you can do with it. Like the money is not yours. I can't stress that enough because there are people that get grants just like folks that got the PPP loans and they just do crazy things, and that's not right. You mess stuff up that way and you break trust. So don't do that. This money is not yours. This money is given to people that care about somebody outside of themselves and want to do something. All right. So that's the first thing. Then we talk about what a grant is. A grant is money that is given to you to do a vision, to do a mission, to do a purpose, and you don't have to pay the money back. You don't have to pay it back. You don't have to pay for the money. You don't have to pay the money back. The next thing I talk about in the Grant Academy is the types of grants you can get. You can get grants for equipment, grants for houses, grants for cars, grants for salaries, grants for clothes, shoes, electronics. You can get grants to buy property and land. You can get grants to bail people out of jail. You can get grants to buy food.
Hold on. You said bail people out of jail, you can get grants?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you know how many
There's
folks
foundations
got
right
people
now.
sitting in jail right now and can't get them out, and they ain't know that they can write grants to get them out. They ain't think it was hope.
There's a woman in Asheville right now. There's a woman in Asheville right now. Matter of fact, she won't mind me saying her name. She's an amazing woman, Phyllis Utley, and she gets grant money specifically to bail people out of jail. Specifically
So
to
what
bail
if
people
we
out of jail.
So what if we had a program, right? Because something that was hitting our community, right? Because it's I like to go grab the person. So the person that got access to all the information and just choose not to use it, they can go about their business. That's on them. But it's some people that it's some people that life just not fair to them, right? The information just can't get to them, right? That's my target, right? Just like the guy who trying to get right, trying to do right. We know society. I don't want to do the victim blame because people came up in different environments. It took me getting out, being around people to do certain things, the environment, right? But there's some people that just might get out of jail that you got out of jail with a plan, a mission, right? You got you had that wife that was there to like be your backbone too. A lot of people don't have that. Some of them might even have a baby mama that hate them, right? Ready for them to go back, right? I mean, it might be true, right? And they might be on child support. And then now the prison system that tricks society into saying, hey, they gotta work minimum wage forever. Everything is stacked against the person who just went to prison to work minimum wage forever, right? I guess that's what the minimum wage jobs was built for until we got smart. So now take that person who just didn't have access to the information, but everywhere he go try to work, he ain't making enough to pay child support. So what if a guy like me, and because you got two sides of the coin, you got some guys who just don't want to take care of their kids, and you got some people who really want to take care of their kids, but don't have the situation. So would that be something to justify? Like if I wanted to create a program that can help back up child support, because that's going to help the mama too, right? So what if we created like a program that's going to help fathers that's back in child support, but they got to go through a program to learn how to start their business, and they can get a grant to catch up or get funded to catch up on back child support. That's one of the things I want to create.
Yeah, absolutely. You can create that for you. You can create that, or I can create it for you. You can create that and give the money to the courts or whoever is needed. Matter of fact, that's not even far fetched. One of the programs that I wrote grant for, we got money to pay off people's driver's license fines. There's a national movement regarding people who lost their license, so it can pay all of their fines and we can help them buy a car. there's enough money to buy a whole used car, but they have to do something. You get what I'm saying? They have to do something.
Somebody,
They do their part.
so I posted about this today, right? About the grant writing. Somebody literally argued me down, right? There's like, ain't nobody got time to start no nonprofit. And I was like, no, you can actually get grants for profits, right?
Yeah,
So, because a lot of people, so is that a myth that you got to have a nonprofit to get a grant? The grant, right?
Yeah, that is a myth. It's just not true. Most grants do go to nonprofits. Most grants do go to nonprofits, but there are for-profit grants. As a matter of fact, my coffee shop, we get grants all the time for the coffee shop, a for-profit selling coffee shop. We just got one for $50,000 last month, and that was just last month. And so there are grants for-profit companies, and in the Grant Academy, I show you where to find them too. Also, I show you how to get a grant even if you don't write a grant. I'm telling you, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Hey,
Definitely
no,
gotta take the
the
academy.
low hanging fruit play was the one, bro. Like, because people, man, you know how many people look over them little $500 grants, man. If you had a VA in
Yeah.
place, like we got the staffing academy, like we've been telling them everything they can do with a VA. So
Dad,
what can a
you
person?
just tell everything, don't you?
No, because you got, hey, because when look, did you get a VA from Ken? You got
Yeah.
some VAs from Ken.
Oh yeah. I got a
So
whole team. I'm training my
they sit
wife.
around the clock all day and just get all of them little
All day,
$500 grant. Like they can get them
all
daily,
day,
right?
all day.
That's crazy.
All day. As a matter of fact, most of the time, there's money out there for stuff, and we might not know anybody that needs that thing. You get
Right.
what I'm saying? This $8 million grant that we're writing right now, we're looking at, okay, who else can we include? Who else can we pay? Because we're only up to like 6 million, and we need to spend another 2 million.
Right. So what's the limit on the salary that you can write though? Because I know a lot of people be like, oh, I'm gonna write
Yeah,
myself a $3 million
there
salary
is.
and it ain't justified.
Yeah. So remember, you're not going to get rich off a grant. The grant is designed to help you help somebody. So there are different ratios, but one of the simple ratios is that a person's salary should never be like the executive's salary should not be more than 10% of the whole budget. So if the budget is $1 million, your salary can be like 100,000.
I got you.
Like that's one of the general rules. If your budget is 600,000, then you're at like 60,000. But it should be like comparable to what it would be to run a company.
So how hard it is
So,
to
but if your budget,
like realistically, how hard it is to write $1 million grant? And like so
I mean,
to get 100,000, to set yourself $100,000 salary, right? So you create a mission,
yeah,
right? And
mhm,
so I guess the mission got to be big enough to justify it to where you spending it on the
the
people.
mission, the mission got to be big. Well, number one, the problem got to be big enough, and then the mission has to match the problem. And I show you how to do that in the academy. This is why you have to look at your city's plan and your county plan. You got to know what the big problem is, and then you got to have a mission to solve that problem. So if you just installing water fountains, then that might not be a thing. But if you want to build schools, because you identified that the current school is not doing good enough, then you need a couple million. You need like 10 million, and your salary should be like 150,000 a year.
So that's why they spend a lot. I got booked in Chicago, right? And it was crazy.
Mhm.
So I'm like, this person booking me ain't popular, right? But I didn't realize like
Mhm.
they was fired like grant writing. They had so much. They paid me $28,000 to come out there and speak. So when you
Mhm.
talking about like paying for like high level speaking and things like that. So in other words, this is like a good old boy network if you want to. Never mind, I ain't so you can create your own good old boy network. I ain't never mind. I don't want to mislead people. Now.
There is,
So what I'm saying
I
is,
feel
if you got somebody that's so let's say old buddy and he done changed this life around, and you want him to come speak to the community. As long as it's justified that he's like getting stuff,
yeah,
right? That it ain't like I
right,
just gave my homeboy some money, right? But
right,
so a lot of people can use nonprofits to really build a community. 10 friends get together and
absolutely.
then make sure that if I
That's
got
the
a
whole
program
point.
in this business, so and I'm saying this because a lot of people, especially when the free credit academy job, right? And then I got some stuff going
Mhm.
on with the Credit Repair University that'll drop. But anyway, so like a lot of people with these credit repair businesses, man, um, the nonprofit can, you know, a lot of people ain't gonna do the nonprofit as the credit, but the nonprofit can actually get you the funding. Because one of the things I was gonna do is use the nonprofit to travel around the US putting on conferences. Use the money for the conference place, use the money for the marketing to get the message out, to get people in the door. They get to know Derek Harper because now it's free. They get to come. We spend a lot, get a lot of grant money, right? Hit almost every city. But at the end of that tour, the brand is so big that now people gonna be like, hey, I want you to coach me, right? Because you did your mission still, you empowered the people, but that don't mean that people forget about you when you leave and you're on that nonprofit mission. They still know you. You drop gems. Hey, can you coach me?
Absolutely. That's how you do it. That's what you're supposed to do. The money is used to go back into the community to pay for whatever it takes, the conference, the education, and what you would be doing with credit repair is called financial literacy, and there's money for that. Like you can actually track how people's lives are changed because they learn credit repair or because they learn how to properly use credit or how to repair their own credit. The $10,000 or $20,000 that you are paid is nothing compared to the community savings or the tax savings or the community impact. You get what I'm saying? And people being able to walk out of poverty and not be victim to predatory lending, and all that stuff. So yeah, the grants can pay for all of that. In fact, the grant can pay for the credit repair. The grant can pay for the credit repair, the credit repair fee. And then once you're done doing that, your name is known, and definitely you could, you know, coach, consult, speak, or whatever. But you've actually spent that money on the thing that's going to change the community. That's the whole piece. What are you willing to do to change somebody else? And there's definitely money for it.
And you know, most of us are on that mission. Most of us, I don't know if you saw it. I'm gonna go live in the group and play it back. I was on Social Proof with David, and I kind of talked about it, but I really kind of dove in with Ash Cash on in the vault, because a lot of people, they don't do the for what test, right? So when they say, Coach, I need to make $1 million. For what? Well, to be able to get the car that I want. For what? To be able to build influence. Just go build influence. You see what I'm saying? So you don't really want the $1 million, you want the car. You don't really want the car, you just want the influence. You just don't want the influence, you want to build a community. Go build a community. Right. So if you could put a what behind it, then that ain't your purpose. Your purpose, when you find out what it is when you can't put a for what behind it. Right. And so, like, if you go through that means test, man, I'm trying to run the bag up this year for what? But this is what I wanted to talk about. And then now we definitely getting into it because it's getting late. You know, we've been on here an hour, and because I said it was going to be like an hour and a half or whatever. And then, you know, so the only thing is so go ahead. So they going through the Grant Academy, right? And they, you know, QnA Academy dropped. They done went through and learn how to get they, you know, VAs in place, right? And now they got the VAs around the clock, right? $500 grants and things like that. So, how lucrative, if they say, hey, I'm tired of writing for myself, how lucrative can it be writing grants for other people, though?
Very, very, very. There was one colleague of mine who was a lawyer and actually makes more money writing grants than they did practicing law. So yeah, you can do it, and you don't need a degree or anything else. Now, if you go to the Grants Academy, based on the training that I give, you have the option to kind of continue, and then if you want to be certified, you can be. But what that does, it puts you in like the line of getting more referrals and being connected, and then inside of the academy, I show you some of the tricks of the trade, some of the ways that you can get ahead a little faster. Because like when you reference writing a whole bunch of $500 grants, actually in the grant world, larger is actually better. Some funders don't even like to give out small grants. They prefer to give out large ones. There's one funder that I work with who will not give out anything less than 100,000. And inside the academy, as a matter of fact, inside the academy, I show you a 2-page grant that was $150,000, 148 to be exact.
2 pages.
2 pages for $148,000.
Man.
Oh yeah, I show it to you. The example. Yep, I show it to you. The exact 2 pages.
So in other words, it kind of pays and sets you up to look out for other people.
Absolutely. You got to do it. Like, I'm financially secure. I'm okay. But the grants that I write allow me to give back. Now, my mom, she was a teenage mother, and what the '80s did in terms of like in the black community with drugs and alcohol. So, like, my family went through that, and what we ended up doing was creating a program to help people in recovery using her history and reentry using my history, and it's funded. I mean, all you have to do is care about somebody else and care enough to do some excellent work. Now, don't try to get a grant to cut corners. Don't try to get a grant to just keep it all to yourself. Get a grant when you really intend to do something for somebody. It's okay for you to charge, but do something for somebody. As a matter of fact, one of the grants that I got, and this is recorded in the North Carolina Bar Journal, where I created a social enterprise model, worked with a law firm, where nonprofits can create and own for-profit subsidiaries. So a nonprofit can create a for-profit company and work with it, and all that can be grant funded. As a matter of fact, the way that the system is growing these days, grant funders, they want to know how will you make money after this grant expires, and they want you to charge somebody for something.
Wow. So in other words, it's kind of like grassroots movement type stuff. Like, hey, we
Absolutely.
understand it's hard to come up with the money. So they gotta just get rid, because if they don't get rid of the money, then they ain't gonna have the money to keep giving.
Oh, if they don't get rid of money, they get penalized. Like that 144 billion, that's moving because it has to move. I remember, and
12
this
billion a
happens
month.
and yeah, in the Grant Academy, I give you what's called a grants calendar. And so in the grants calendar, you actually get the calendar where you see what money is moving at certain times of year, and during December, of course, that's the end of the tax year, and people that are facing some tax penalties, they're giving away money. And I was in one meeting, and somebody was sitting beside me. He said, "Hey, can you use another 13,000?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, you weren't excited enough. What about 15,000?" Now, he wasn't doing that because he liked me. He was doing
Right.
that because it was the end of the year and they needed to move. I also tell you in the Grants Academy where the money is in every community. Even though your cities and your counties have different names, all of them are set up pretty much the same way. And inside the Grant Academy, the free Grant Academy, I tell you who to talk to, how to contact them, and what to do in order to let them know that if they have money to give, to contact you. I'll show you how to do that.
Mm-mm-mm. Man. But you know, what I like about the nonprofit. So it's so many wealth tips that you shared. They don't even, like, when I ain't gonna say they don't even get it. They getting it, right. You got to be around the conversation,
Uh,
because like I'm gonna say it again. Somebody hit me up and they like, man, coach, I'm following, but man, what you speaking is like a foreign language to me. And I said, that's good. How long are you willing to put in to learn that language? You see, the thing is your code might be in a different language than what you used to, but a lot of people dismiss it because
mhm.
they ain't willing to learn that language, right? And I ain't talking about Spanish, and I ain't talking
Right.
about, French and all that. I'm talking about a different language, a different room. They talk different. You're not used to it. It's okay.
Yeah.
But if you're around it long enough, you're gonna start to pick it up naturally, and anything outside of it. Like, you move somewhere long enough, your accent change, right? So
Mhm.
one of the things that I love about the giving side and the principle of like getting something to move is so spiritual too, right? Because a lot of times God don't give it to you to give to you, he give it to you to move through to somebody. So a person that's like
Yeah.
spiritually in tune or really for the people, the nonprofit works perfect for
It works perfect. And you can live off the dividends. Now, there's also a model where you create your for profit business, and right beside it, you create your nonprofit.
it. Right.
Right beside it. That's normal. Bank of America has it, Coca Cola has it. It is a business model that right alongside your for-profit company, you create a nonprofit agency, and you can get a salary from that nonprofit agency.
So can your for-profit or can your nonprofit company give contracts to your for-profit, or is there restriction against that?
This is not legal advice. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm only sharing information.
Only for entertainment.
About
You've seen.
entertainment information. Yeah. All right. Um, it yes, that type of thing is done, and and it happens all the time.
But you just advise them to seek with an attorney and right.
I advise you to speak with your attorney and your finance professional and all that.
So I
And
think
they'll draft up the paperwork
Attorney
for
Taylor
government.
watching. Hey, Attorney Taylor, Free Hire about to be a nonprofit. So we definitely about to make Free Hire a nonprofit. The mission here is perfect for a nonprofit. Here I am
Absolutely.
spending all my own money when I could have just been getting all this grant money for this group.
Yep.
We
You
about to
could
go
have been
crazy
spending.
now. They mess around and give us
There
some grant
are,
money for this group. It's over.
man. Just let me at them.
All right, you already
Let me
know.
at 'em.
We already done talk. We about to turn this thing up. I got the goat.
Yeah,
I got the goat now, so we straight. But no,
it's
man. So
solid.
that.
Like
Oh, go ahead. My bad.
it's solid. The thing is, poverty is actually part of the capitalist system. In the United States is set up to run like a corporation, and inside this corporation called the United States, capitalism has to be somewhere between 15 and 20%. So the system is designed that some people are always going to be poor. And then there's a book called Regulating the Poor that talks about how the American welfare system was never set up to move people out of the projects, out of poverty. It was only set up
Thank
to
you
keep
for
people down.
saying that.
So if the system is set up to keep people down and the bulk of the people are only using their social media to say stupid stuff and to waste time, then nobody expects that you're going to be on a social media platform learning stuff that's going to get you out of the system, get you out of the cesspool, get you out of the cult, the gravel and the foolishness so that you can come up. And those grants are there for the people, and it just needs somebody that's willing not to let people circle the wagon, but somebody that's going to go in and actually pull people out. There are enough people right now that get grants and they just maintain foolishness. People just
Right.
still doing the same old, same old, same old. What if you, and I'm talking about all the 777 y'all that's out there, what if you took your thing seriously enough to say, I have a plan and a business and a strategy to really pull people out? And if that's you, definitely you need to take the Grand Academy. And after you take the Academy, you just need to do it. Everything that's in there, do it.
And we dropping them, man, and the way that we dropping them is so strategic, right? Because everybody, and it's
Mhm.
crazy. I kind of like gotta like borderline trick people, like, all right, the credit one coming because everybody want the credit. That's cool, but you can get grants with bad credit, right? Grants ain't like loans.
Yeah,
It
grants
don't
don't,
even matter. The credit don't
grants
even
don't,
matter to it.
man, credit don't matter. Your credit don't matter. Your background check don't matter. In 1 week, I got $300,000 in grants. And all of them knew that I was from. Matter of fact, I was on probation at the time. No, matter of fact, I was on work release at the time. The thing that's working against you, stop running from it. Make it work for you.
I, thank you, man. It's like man, you in my head, like it's good just knowing, man. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Whatever your journey was, somebody else is walking down that path and they don't know what to do. You know what to do because you know how you got out. Even if it's not what other people did, you know what you did. Package that and apply for the funding.
Do you think a lot of people not building these nonprofits because they so busy worrying about surviving themselves, not realizing that the
Yeah.
principle of if you help enough people, that's the grace you gonna get. So if you ain't
Yeah.
the struggle that you dealing with is the struggle that you scared, and this a bar. The struggle that you're continuing to you're dealing with your struggle because you ain't helped people out of theirs. And a lot of people ain't gonna catch
Right.
it. I'm stuck where I won't help people out, which means that if you're in a position where you're focused on I'm surviving, you're gonna be in survival mode because you ain't helping nobody else survive. You ain't trying to get the
Right.
answer to your breakthrough to help people. You trying to get the answer to your breakthrough for selfish reasons because you're tired of dealing with it. And if we
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
change the mindset, every multimillionaire that I sit down and talk to, and people be like, millionaires just want to hang with millionaires. No, millionaires has nothing to do with who you are. Like when people be like, oh man, that's Derek, a millionaire. That ain't got, I'm not a millionaire, I'm a human. You know what I'm saying? I'm a
Hmm.
person. I'm on assignment. I got a mission. Because if the money gone, then you ain't gonna call me a millionaire no more. What you gonna call me then? So I'm not defined by being able to generate revenue.
Right.
Right. And that's why even when people come in the
Hmm.
group, what you do is fine. That's cool. But I don't need no logos and this and that. I want to get to know you because your assignment can change. And what you're doing now might not be what you're doing 3 years from now. And a lot of people take it as,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
me getting on them, but that's love. So what I'm saying here is just that principle of being able to create this nonprofit. A lot of people ain't thought about creating a nonprofit because they're too busy. And a lot of people think for profit first because they're thinking about getting out of their situation and not even thinking about the people they're going to serve.
Yeah. And they don't know, like the nonprofit, you can make a salary. You can make a nice salary from it. If you are staying somewhere and you making plates, why keep using your EBT card to make plates? Why not decide that you're going to write for a grant to get fresh food, fresh fruits and vegetables, high end meats and premium stuff, and decide that you're going to feed your community the best of the best, even if they can't take the bus to get to the grocery store. And you can write it into a grant to rent a truck to bring the food to you. As a matter of fact, most of the grocery stores, I'm giving it away here, most of the grocery stores have a situation where you can just go and request. All you need is a letter. I mean,
Oh, so
so many times people
because
are stuck with
restaurants
what
got
they're
tax
doing.
bill
They don't really,
and restaurants got tax bills at the end of the year that
everybody,
they because everything's sitting in that restaurant's account at the end of the year that they ain't got an expense for.
everybody,
They paying 37% on it. So they trying to get write-offs.
everybody, everybody. Your city and your county, they're getting rid of cars every 5 years because of depreciation. And they scheduled the maintenance on them already. Everything, everything is moving. Money in America is like blood in a body. It's always moving. The moment it stops moving, then the body shuts down. That's why back in the day they had the stimulus check. Why? Because they were stimulating the economy. Nonprofits, nonprofits make up a significant part of this economy, but a lot of us are missing it because we don't want to do the paperwork or go through the class or write the letter, or we just so embarrassed about what we went through. We don't want to talk about it, whatever. Own whatever you went through
Yeah, but you know
and help
what's
somebody
funny?
else.
So you know what's funny, right? So it ain't funny at all. But like a lot of people think that the SBA program helped, right? And it did. It helped temporarily, right? So most of the
Temporarily.
people that got it, right? And this is why when people be like voting stuff up and down, we just look at blue and red. We look at politics. We don't look at the whole picture, right? Because I don't think a lot of people understood the inflation that was going to come behind everybody getting money. So it's like okay, we finally got it. We finally got it. We got 20 bands to 200 bands, 300 bands, whatever, right? But then now, if
Mhm.
you're not conditioned in your mindset to have a mission and all of that, to where I know I can get grants coming in, because some people didn't even know that they can, can get grants or whatever, right? But if they knew they can get grants coming in, now you got a mission. Now things are done. But when everybody just get an influx of money to like, I got to spend it on just something crazy and stimulate the economy.
Mhm.
Now you got a supply and demand issue because if everybody can afford it, it's going
Yeah.
to run out a lot faster, which means that now we got to start making it at a faster rate, which means that the supplies to make it, because everybody's making it, going to shut down, and then now you got a chip shortage.
Yep. And now you
Now
got a
that the
chip shortage. Now you got empty shelves.
housing value is
Yeah.
75% higher. So now the thing is after the recovery period of spending that 20,000 or spending the whole EIDL, I recovered, I
Mhm.
survived, everything was good, but now everything costs 75% more, and I got the same bank account that I had pre-pandemic. Now
Yep.
I just set two generations back behind me because I got to dig out a bigger hole right now. When if we would
Yep.
have had
And
access to this information instead of saying, hey, but you know what was crazy about this, right? It's all government assistance. So it's just the wrong government assistance. And I ain't saying that, right?
exactly.
Some government
Yeah.
assistance is designed to keep you down. Because think about it. If I take Social Security, if I take this, if I, I don't work my whole life to get Social Security, but then once I get this little check that ain't really gonna help me do anything, I can't even make it over $18,000 if I do that. So I get
That's
something from
right.
the government, but the government say, but you can't have this. I'm gonna give you a house, but the man can't stay there. So now you'd have killed the whole family, right? So now, if we would have understood that you could have built the nonprofit of keeping the family together, men teaching them reaching men and programs like
Mhm.
that that's coming back to make sure that the men who are out of jobs in the community don't have to go to selling dope. It's a
Yeah.
million things that you could have did right there. And
Man,
it's
it's a
still government
million things.
assistance, but you got
Million things you can do.
$100,000. You got $1 million grant. You got 4 people getting $100,000 salary to serve in the community. Now you just change generations behind them because now that
Yep.
dad who have to
And
go back and sell dope, he on the board now. So
mhm.
it's just, man, it's just
And
crazy.
those people,
It's
and
time.
that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And the stuff that people are running away from, they don't know. You leaving all your good stuff behind. Like the dude that used to sell dope is perfect for a board. It's
Yes,
perfect to be an executive director. That's exactly what they want. All they need to see is that this person is taking their life experience and doing something to help the community.
because if I give you something that you're
Any
scared to
business.
wean off, man, and we can have this talk. Y'all can judge me. So the housing project was designed to be worse than a drug with dependency.
Yes.
Because now, and it was just to get a vote, right? And we ain't gonna talk politics. We ain't gonna. But if you dependent on something so much, you're scared for it to go away, and it's kind of like the wolf, man, in the Arctic, you know, where
Mhm.
they put the ice and put the blade in there and put the blood around the blade. So now, you know,
Mhm.
the wolf goes and
Fighting
it's
for it.
cold out there and he's licking the blood, but it's so cold because the blood is attached to the ice. So the ice is cooling the wolf's tongue off, so he ain't even tasting the blood, but he's
No
slicing
killing
his whole
himself.
tongue and his whole throat off. So, and that's exactly what they
Yep.
give. They're giving us something that looks so good, but it's slicing a generation and generation. And
It's like, and you got to stop. You got to stop and learn something different. The traditional education system in America was never designed to produce business owners. It was designed to produce worker bees. That's actually the purpose of high school in America. It was designed to create a workforce for factories so that somebody could be there turning the factory for somebody that's rich. That's what it was designed for. And so the traditional K through 12 education was not designed to do what this type of academy is doing. And I'm not talking about the Grants Academy. I'm talking about the whole business academy. The business academy is designed to set your mind free. So
right,
if anybody signs up for any one of the academies with the idea, I'm getting a free handout, then they're not with the right mindset. Your time is an investment. Invest the time that says, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm willing to pay in order to set my mind free. Because school not going to do it. Your
no,
monthly check is not going to do it. Child support check is not going to do it. And you complaining is not going to do it.
and there's three components to it, man. The first, and there's so many hurdles. But it's about if you go out, it's about getting used to it. Your repetition creates your reputation, right? So
Right.
if you do something over and over and you get used to it, you're gonna automatically see the difference, right? So
Right.
even just like, okay, a man can't stay at the project house, and so you got to sneak him in. I know it's some kind of nonprofit you could have probably created to buy this fourplex to
Man,
be
you,
able
you can
to
buy the whole block.
by the
There's one
whole
grant.
block, right?
You got the
Develop the
whole
whole
block.
block, and you got academies on the block. You growing food in the backyard, so you teaching the kid. You got a
Man,
whole community
the
that's
whole
not
thing.
government dependent, and with the grant money that you're getting, they're not telling you, but you can't do this, can't do that, can't do this, can't do that, can't do
Yeah.
this.
No, no, no. The thing that you're talking about is being done right now. One of the grants, and this is public information. This grant is wonderful. It's amazing. It's called Youth Build. That grant went to an organization in Philadelphia, and the city gave them a few blocks. And with this grant money, they renovate the houses, rent out the houses, and the renters pay their rent and they pay for maintenance and the hire people and the grant paid for them to do a school, and they get this funding every year. Similar thing happened in Baltimore. And this is one of the grants that I've gotten in the past. There are so many strategies for it. If you can see a big enough problem, there's funding for it. You just got to change the way you see it.
Man, that's it's scary. So now, if you glad you joined this group because now you're getting access to information on levels like this, just put free hive in the comments because I want to make a lot of people sit and they watch. It's 800 and something people on here.
Uh,
It ain't gonna be number 20 people, and they busy like, okay, we need the academy, right? So the way that these academies work, when you see somebody coming on speaking, their academy is up next, right? With the only exception was Ken. He was actually at the house. I'm like, let's go ahead and get yours. Ken is actually coming back right before the staffing academy drops, right? So the academies that's ready right now are the content creation and tax preparation, right? So this is dropping next, and then we actually got Devin and Tia with the Freight Academy. They're freight brokers and freight agents. They coming on tomorrow, right? And then we're dropping the Freight Academy right after that. So when we get every 5,000 people in the group, we drop an academy. So we hit 40,000. This one is dropping. We hit 45. the freight drop and we hit 50, staffing dropping, and we hit 55, it might be credit, I think, right? And because that's going to take us right into the conference. So that way, the way that the conference is everybody going to come, they're going to meet up, and the academies that's been dropped, you know, are taking stage, getting more in depth, you know, like in-person type stuff with them, and then, you know, do that conference slash meetup every quarter with all the academies that got dropped with the in-depth and slash meetup slash network. But so for the people, it's like, hey, where the link at? The link will be live when it drops. You'll get the announcement, you'll get the text, you'll get the email saying, hey, the link is available, right? Until you get that, it ain't available yet. It's ready and it's available. When we hit 40,000, that's why we brought him on. So congratulations on adding people. You know, some people ain't gonna join. Some people are really missing out. One of y'all probably was like, man, I'm skeptical, but I'm gonna just go on and see what's out here, blah, blah, blah. And y'all probably like, dang, that's crazy. I'm so far behind. You're not behind, right? You what God wants you to be, trust me, right? You a lot better than if you hadn't started, you hadn't learned and things like that. So man, so yeah, man, I just want to thank you. What else do you want to share to leave them with something that you know, give them the Jay Hackett experience and kind of flex a little bit because they don't know you to go. You know, a lot of people like, I do it too.
Yeah.
So go ahead and flex a little bit, man, and just leave us with something that they only gonna get on this call.
Well, this year alone, we've done I think about 8 figures, and of course the $8 million grant is about to happen. But this is the thing. Like I was able to hire my mother to run a program. It increased her salary. She was able to qualify for a house, you know, and was able to do that. I wrote grants for people that thought they had an idea, and I was able to put it together for them and show them how they get the funding. And at this point, matter of fact, in the Grant Academy, you don't only get the 2-page grant for $148,000, but you also find out how I did one email and got $100,000 for just a paragraph. This is stuff that you learn, and most of the grant writers, they'll take you through all of the things, and they'll make it really complex and really complicated, and they take you the long division way. Well, what we've done is simplified it so that you can get there quicker, and it's written in a way, and we present it in a way that's real talk. The thing that makes this academy different is that I lived it and walked it, and this is what's been done in just a few short years. Every business ought to be associated with a nonprofit. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. But whether it's freight, matter of fact, I got a $310,000 grant to buy tractor trailer trucks and start a trucking agency. And that was just a few years ago. And when the officer called me, he said, "Are you sure you can spend this much money?" You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not about, yeah. So that's the thing. Like, give yourself a shot. Take your vision and your passion seriously. Now you can check me out, you know, on TEDx. My TED Talk is coming up. Forbes magazine. I was a speaker for South by Southwest, one of the largest conferences in the world. You can look me up in the North Carolina Bar Journal. You can check me out at the Lenoir University Institute.
Flex
you
on
know,
them,
a few
bro.
different things.
Flex on them, bro. Talk your talk.
It's okay. It's okay. University of North Carolina, Asheville. I studied sociology in West Africa at the University of Ghana. You know, nonprofit management at Duke University. You know, a few different things. And I'm glad to do it. I'm glad to do it. Last year, you know, the 75 businesses, they went from 0 to $1 million, and that was grant funded. Like, we breaking records. I created the first apprenticeship program for community health workers in the state of North Carolina, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and so because people, I'm gonna tell you, people obsessed, not really obsessed, but people, they think this like rich thing is like a thing, like a goal, like a, you know, like, oh man, being rich. And the people who kind of can generate revenue understand that we ain't got a money problem. Like, you just explained so many ways to get money. Like, you know, we got the whole business credit academy and all that coming, gonna show how to like get bit funding and things. Like, we got the funding academy. So that's on the, you know, the credit side, right? But this is the non-credit. So nobody got an excuse right now. And this stuff,
Nah.
bro, like,
Bad credit, no degree. high school dropout, prison, all that stuff. None of that matter. Matter of fact, there's a grant that comes out every 2 years called the 100 and Strong. It's $100 million grant with no parameters, and all you got to do is prove that you can change the world. I think that fits.
Man. Mm-mm-mm. So
Yeah.
that's, man, I'm blown
Yeah.
away.
What questions did people have?
No, because you put a $2,500 program, and because people see free and then they think no value, right? They don't understand
Oh
that
man,
you threw a $2,500 program.
no.
Was it 25 or 75? It might have been more, right? So I think, okay, that's the
Yeah.
25 one, right? Because you got to make some money, like doing, because you give everything away, it's like, oh, we ain't got no need for him, because people will
Yeah.
use you up and then leave you, right?
They
But you
will.
put the
They'll do that.
$2,500 portion of the program in here, and people got access to it. But if they
They
had
got it.
paid, they had to save and pay $2,500 for it. They'll be the first one tuned in, watching it all the way through. Because I ain't gonna lie, you dropped some game. And I learned from people, and I'd be like, I knew this, I knew that, I knew this, I knew that. Because you always got somebody who just think they know it all, right? But they always in position where it's like, I just can't get over the hump. The ones that know everything don't execute, right? And the ones who kind of got something going on, smart enough to know that they don't know everything. It's always time to learn. But I think that I probably learned more in this academy, man, as I was going through it than I done learned from, anything that I done took in like the last 4 or 5 years, bro. Just going through it. And I ain't saying it to hype it, bro. I'm saying it because I was like, you went in, you like go to this website and do this. Go here, get this and do this. People don't do that, bro. I was like, man,
I'm telling you everything. Like I'm giving it all away. I'm like, man, I ain't gonna have no customers after this.
But it's crazy.
It's cool. That's my heart.
Man.
That's my heart. Yeah. It's almost like a parallel universe. Some people are living and walking on this side of the street and don't even know on the other side it's a whole different ball game. Whole different ball game.
So yeah. So how can they find you?
One lady
how can they find you on social media?
Joseph Hackett. You can find me on Facebook and on Instagram, Joseph Hackett. You can look me up at Black Wall Street AVL, and a lot of y'all have reached out to me in my inbox. That's good, but we gonna go through the academy. That's where you need to be. All right, let's go through the academy and answer most of your questions, and then we'll talk after that.
Yeah. Because some of them, I mean, it's free, and you know what? So it's crazy. So like people took the Tax Prep Academy, right? This is why I talk about like energy joining the group. I ain't address it, but so you have some people like, no, it ain't a free Tax Academy. It's $199. No, it's not $199. It's $199 if you want to start the company through them and get a background check in this. But you got enough information to go and create your own tax company, right? So it is free, but the people ain't going. They not gonna pay for your background check. They don't know you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I done served you and gave you the free academy. So just a disclaimer, like Joseph is not cheap. You heard how many people in Forbes that you got access to? How many people that then, man, this guy got credentials after credentials, man, and his story. A lot of people don't survive after prison like that, right? And he's so transparent about it, and he's genuine. He's real, right? So the thing is he do got a paid program too. So yeah, if you go through all the free stuff and say, I want to start a grant writing business, that ain't gonna be free. He gave you all the information to write all your grants the way that you want to write. But it's a whole lot of other side of the regulation and a whole nother other side of the things when it comes to starting a grant writing business. So don't be like, so this is to get you funding. I need you guys getting your $1 million grants. We need testimonies because a lot of people, because we don't need testimonies to sell. We need testimonies because people going to be like, oh man, that group, blah, blah, blah. No, if they see that people really get $1 million grants, $100 and something $1,000 grants on a 2-page, $500 and $1,000 grants daily that your VAs are chasing. Those are real
Yeah.
testimonies that's life changing and generation shifting, right? That people need to see to say, dang, I need to join and get out of cash. Because it ain't even the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that if you take it, don't take it for me. Take it for my community, right? Because
Yeah.
when we get down the road and we start building these credit clubs, and when Donna get this, or Attorney Taylor get this nonprofit for the free hive, we start getting chapters in different states, and you start talking about credit clubs and all of this. These are the movements.
Mm-hmm.
That's the vision we really got down the road. This ain't no
Yeah.
thing that we trying to like do something stupid and just mess the whole group up. Now, no, we're trying to build something bigger than just a group. The group is basically a placeholder to gather the people to get the message out. But this thing is going to be bigger than Nino Brown. I had to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Watching that.
It's bigger than Nino Brown. You got to do it, and you got to look at it like as a worldwide movement.
Yeah.
And there's as a matter of fact, there's funding that the United States gives to other countries. So no matter where you are on the planet, and if you want to take the free hive to other countries, there's funding to do that, to do this same thing in other countries. It doesn't really matter what idea you come up with. There's somebody that's there to fund it. All you got to do is take it seriously. So
Okay,
yeah,
so I got an idea.
go into this. Uh,
I got an idea. Tell me if you think that we
all
can
right.
get funded with this, right? So I got a warehouse in
Mhm,
Hong Kong, right? So I pay my
mhm,
shipper and my shopper, right? Because in China, the ship a container here is 10 grand. Hong Kong is 2,500. So you can incorporate in Hong Kong, right, without having to live there as an expat, and you can get, and
mhm.
they don't cost that much. So my shopper
Right.
goes into like Guangzhou and get all the stuff and then put it in our warehouse in Hong Kong, and our shipper ships it out, right? So one of
Mhm.
the things that I'm planning on doing was I was going to do a program where I help people start boutiques, whatever they want to start, but all the supplies is going to be in their warehouse. It's going to be staged, have staging centers.
Mhm.
What if I
Yeah.
created a nonprofit to teach Mandarin to people so they can start incorporating in Hong Kong and create our own supply chain?
Yeah.
You think
Absolutely.
it's funding
That
for
that
that to teach them
that's
Mandarin
easy.
and to
That's
position
easy.
us in Hong Kong too? Once the China virus go away, as the ex-president said.
One of the easiest ways to do it is to make it American based, where you teach Americans how to do business with other companies, with other countries. And so that's entrepreneurship and job creation. And if you teach language, that's international. That's international, and that fits the category of capacity building, and it fits the category of education, and it fits the category of community economic development. It fits so you pay for the training, you pay for the curriculum, you pay for the lessons, the time, the staff, all of that stuff. Um, the now the shipping container itself, or the container itself in Hong Kong, that might be hard to cover. That might be hard to cover. But
Yeah, I mean it's
can
20.
you
I mean
still
it's
hear me?
only 2,500. You can lease the container. Like it's only 2,500 from Hong Kong to just the transport fee. That's a full container worth
Yeah.
of. I only want the container. I want the stuff coming off of it. And then
Oh
now the
yeah.
freight,
You get
the
the
freight
unpaid stuff.
company, the trucks that you got up under up under the nonprofit can go, offload it and bring it back to the
Mhm.
compound. And if I could get, man, I need to transfer the 76 acres we closed on onto the. Well, I don't know if you can do that. I got to talk to my attorney about putting that in the
Yeah,
trust. But
talk to your lawyer. But there was a nonprofit that somebody was going to donate land, and the nonprofit said, "How much are we going?" The nonprofit had the conversation how much they were going to charge the people to accept the land. I've
that's
never
great.
been in a conversation like that before in my life.
Somebody said, "Are we gonna learn?" So no, we actually got a nonprofit academy coming too. So, so yeah, so this the grant side. We got we got a free nonprofit academy coming. That way, we want people to specialize in what they specialize in.
Yeah.
So another thing, I got so many ideas, bro. Like I want to it's called the real African American, right? So they say we
Uh,
African Americans, but like I think the Americans or the black people that got because I'm building this group for everybody, right? But I think
mhm.
people who are listed or labeled African American, we're the only race that doesn't have a trace back to our real heritage. We don't know what village we from. We don't, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so the thing is the real African American, right? Is when you start talking about most of the Africans in Africa, if they want to get loans, they're getting them from China at ridiculous rates, right? But I also understand that what if we created a pathway to be able to give the people in Africa in the entrepreneurship journey access to the American credit system, right? So the way that would work is having an ICANN, building the company here as a pathway to do business back and forth with Africa, but they come in on a visa as foreign travel to your headquarters. Now you justified on a visa, be able to start getting the I-10 and things like that to start building credit on, using that credit as a part of the American system to build that company, and then now you got an international pipeline to the real African American. That's what I had in my head. That's something I want to do.
These international grants come through the U.S. government all the time. USAID does them, and you can even create a nonprofit bank, not a credit union. It's actually a CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution, that's designed to do stuff like that. I mean, the opportunities and ideas are endless.
Life just got so much.
Like, people just haven't done it, and a lot of people don't read. So I like
a headache today. Like, this is why I like doing, because when you start talking, see, never mind, I'm addicted to this stuff. Now they see why I love like this whole business side, but I love relationship building, because like without our relationship, bro, none of this would even be. We wouldn't even be talking about this.
Yeah. But I appreciate it. I appreciate what you did. You poured into me when you ain't have nothing except my name on the screen or whatever.
Hey, but you know my story, man. A couple years before that probably would have never happened, because I hadn't been through what I went through, right? So things, and that's why I be telling people, don't get mad at the people you can't build a relationship right now. The people that's ignoring you, don't get mad at them and don't try to pay them back later. God might be forcing them to ignore you because you ain't ready yet.
Yeah.
And so now there's so many relationships that if I would have built while I was unhealed, it would have been broken already. So it's like, I'm okay with waiting and being told no until God said I'm ready to get that relationship. And so I just want to thank you for this one. And, and coming and pointing into the people, man, because this means a lot. And that's why I knew this one was going to be the one that everybody was like, oh, my God, because just with the endless opportunity. And, we need to label this, man, and call it true government assistance.
Yeah.
True government assistance.
Not the monthly checks. You need to get in the flow of what's really happening behind the scenes.
It's like, hey, let me throw them something and let me throw them in a neighborhood that we can move around, because the government controls where the neighborhood goes until we gentrify it, and they got to move to the other side of town. So we can control where they stay and control what they eat. And then also the dollars, man. So when you start talking about the schools, like, I didn't realize that the government splits the money between the school system and the housing. So if your school system has a housing project attached to it, some of that money from going to the school is hitting that housing project. So therefore, that school that has 2 or 3 housing projects attached to it ain't going to have the budget that a school that's attached to all homes that was bought with no housing project.
Right.
And so therefore, they're paying you to take hush money to put your kids in a situation where they restricted on learning and calling that government assistance. That's not government assistance.
It's crazy. No, it's not government assistance. As a matter of fact, and a lot of people don't know the reason that some schools have more money than others, not only because of the neighborhood they're in, but because the PTA is set up how you think, as a nonprofit. And the teacher assistants are paid not by the school system, but by the nonprofit. And your housing authorities, y'all have seen all around the country, and people, y'all put your state in there. Every one of your communities, you see that the housing authorities are slowly being torn down and replaced with these things called multi-use, is because they now have a tax value, and that nonprofit is benefiting as the largest landholder in your city. You can admit it or not, but it's true. In every community.
We didn't know this though, man. God, this crazy. This crazy, bro. So it's 11 o'clock, man. I know you've been on. Thank you. Yeah. I know you busy. So, man, listen, I love you, bro. Thank you. I'm on such a high right now from the information, bro, and just how excited I am about dropping this, man. You know what's crazy? Like this is so tough that we didn't even drop the link to the conference. So I'll drop the link to the. So look, tomorrow at 5 p.m. It was gonna be today. Be on the lookout tomorrow because it's nowhere in the world I'm gonna talk about a conference after what we just talked about. Y'all will have time to register for that conference, that meetup. It ain't too much. Y'all will be all right. This Joseph moment. This is, man, thank you. I just want to say thank you, bro. So, man, thank you for staying on here a little later than usual, man. I know you got some stuff to do. And, man, I'm looking forward to building and growing with you. And, man, the people in for a real treat.
Yeah.
Man. I can't wait to this job. So, I'm going to stay up all night to try to get this academy out, right? So the reason I'm not dropping this link for this conference is because I don't want to wait 2 days to get this academy out, right? Today is Wednesday, right? I want this academy out tomorrow. So let me focus on getting this academy out before getting that link out for a freaking conference, because I want y'all to learn this now, because I don't think I've been that geeked after when I dug in, because it's very seldom they tell you to go here, download this form, put this here to say this. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. People don't do that. So if you don't, we got to create a model. If you don't make it out of here, you ain't going to make it nowhere. You see what I'm saying? If you don't make it out of the free hive, you ain't going to make it out alive. I got to figure out some Jesse Jackson type rhymes. But, no, thank you, bro. And if there's anything you want to leave the people with before you go, you're welcome to do it. But thank you for everything you did.
All right. Thank y'all. I want to see you in the class, the Free Grants Academy. Check in with me if there's anything that we can do to help you in a more one-on-one or more individual way. If my staff can be of service to serve you better, just get in touch with me.
So they say, can we help, Coach? You know what's funny, man? A lot of people don't even understand the magnitude of how much they're helping, bro. And that speaks on their heart. That speaks at how in tune with the assignment. So you done added your whole friend list. You made posts. You welcoming people into the group. You pointing people where to go find links at. And you say, hey, how can I help? Do you understand how hard it is just to find people to do that?
Yeah.
So, man, y'all are helping. I don't want to cry, but y'all helping more than enough that, man, I don't even know how to pay y'all back. I owe y'all so much. I'm so indebted to y'all. And that's why we don't want to let this project down. And the reason we overprotective of the group, man, is because this assignment is so big. I'm just scared of somebody coming in there and crashing it. That's why, man, we really need y'all policing the group. People spamming. We ignore it, but we still report it, right? It got to go. We don't want takers. No to-go plates this year. Put that in the comments. No to-go plates this year. Right? Most of the people asking the bill, like, hey, I want to put a class in the academy, but they ain't added none of their friends. Like, none of their people are in here. And the thing is I'm not building this group for Derek Harper. I want to build this group. If I walk out and get in a car crash tomorrow, somebody got to be ready to take over. Y'all need to know the vision and the assignment, right? I don't want it to be, oh, man, so having to Derek, what we going to do? No, we got enough leaders in here. We got enough leaders. We got enough information.
We got it.
So we don't have a money problem. We don't have an information problem. We just got a discipline and execution problem. So the thing is, a lot of y'all making excuses and ain't took no academy. That behavior just don't change overnight. Certain hunger that you gotta have in you. People don't just become millionaires. You become a millionaire in your head before you ever become a millionaire on paper. And the reason you become a millionaire in the head is because you map out a way of how you're going to change the world. All billionaires have a mission so big. You can work your way and create $1 million, but you will never be able to create past $1 million. You got to be able to establish other millionaires. And if you look at becoming from 6 figures to 7 figures, 6 figures is, I had an idea that went good. 7 figures, I had a vision that went good. 8 figures, I built a machine and a movement. But when you talk about $1 billion, you change the world. So because when you look at Elon Musk, he's literally on a mission for survival and putting life on another whole planet. Like, it's out of this world. And he's sacrificing and dedicating on his whole life to these projects to make the world go battery, to make, you know, for global warming and all of that. He's really dedicating his life. And the byproduct of, you know, the billions of dollars he's getting is a byproduct of that. So when you start talking about Zuckerberg connecting the world, those billions are a byproduct of that. That's escape velocity that they created through value creation. A valuation in a company is value creation. You create value by user growth, and with that user growth, people got to be a part of the movement. And that's why we make sure that you guys are part of the movement, because it's bigger than me, it's bigger than you, it's bigger than us. Because 10 years down the road, this thing needs to keep going because we've never seen anything like it. And you guys are definitely the part. I don't have 40,000 people that I could have added to join this group in a month and a half. You're talking about 43 days, 40,000 people. That's unheard of. All of them might not show up on a live at the same time. Some of them might be a little biased, right? Some of them going to come in here and put fake Telegram links in here, but we love them too, all the bots and everything, right? So the whole goal is to take this information and build your community with it. I can't reach 1 million people, but I can reach 1,000. They can reach 1,000. Together, we can reach 1 million, and then we can change the world. So I wanted to leave y'all with that. Thank you, Joseph. Love you, bro. Can't wait to see people get their lives changed behind this, bro. And man, that's all we got, man. So I know a lot of y'all ain't gonna be able to sleep tonight. So just start thinking of some things that you want to do and how you're gonna change the world. And then therefore it'll be easier as you think through that process of how you're gonna get the grant money for it. So love y'all. I'ma holler at y'all. And man, it's been real. All right, bro.
Y'all have a good night.